Good morning. It's great to see so many of you here. For those of you who aren't here, if you can't get up for the world's biggest retailer, I don't know what the hell's the matter with you. Yesterday, we ended with co-ops, and since we've all made so much progress in our sales overnight, today we're starting with the other end of the retail spectrum. Walmart is the country's largest retailer, but it's one that is facing the same pressures on the retailing channel that most chains are experiencing. Trips lost to the cloud, pivots away from processed foods, growing diet individualization. They know that's the case, and certain groups at Walmart have taken it upon themselves to engage with smaller brands, and they're trying to create change from within the institution. Just as a group of folks within Walmart backed organic produce nearly 20 years ago. Walmart now, in case you haven't noticed, has been reaching out with representatives at trade shows and partnerships with incubators. And our next speakers are here to talk about their efforts. Please welcome Sarah Alderson and Laura Rush.
How is everybody? Thank you for getting up early. I feel like being in New York City, you want to stay up late. So I'm not sure how many people went to bed last night. Maybe rolled in a little late, but you all look bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. I see a few people with sunglasses.
There's less sunglasses.
And we don't blame you. We thought about wearing them today. Anyway, I think I know how this works. Oh, it's a little sensitive. Go back. Thank you guys for listening to us. We are here just to tell you a little bit about our personal background. So my name is Laura Rush. I run the frozen food department for Walmart. I've been with Walmart for 9 years. I am extremely passionate about the customer, and I am extremely mission-driven, as are most people at our company. We just wanted to come here today, let you know us, and get to know you as well. I have 2 children. I have a 9 and an 11-year-old. My 9-year-old is performing right now in Branson at a dance competition. I may be the worst mom ever at this point, but I called her before, and I'll call her after. But extremely proud of my children and trying to set a good example and get out here as well. Sarah?
Yeah, I'm Sarah. I've been at Walmart for 11 years now. All of my time's been spent in food merchandising. So similar to Laura, like really passionate about the customer, really passionate about like our mission of Save Money, Live Better. I love working for a company where really every day we go into work trying to figure out how to make the lives of customers better. I also have 2 children, 2 little girls. They both had birthdays this week. And so quick trip for me in and out, going back to celebrate my toddler's birthdays. So, exactly. But we're really happy to be here. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, so thanks for listening. So I'm sure most of you are thinking, like, why are we here? We realized a couple of years ago that people just think Walmart is this big corporate mission, that you get lost in the community. But we kind of are out on a mission to myth bust what people think of what Walmart is. If you got how the company started, we're a little over 50-year company, but Sam Walton started it with the mission in one 5-and-dime store in rural Arkansas, and basically had the perspective, I want to save people money so they can live better. Not everyone has the same amount of income, and he is mission-driven. And that mission hasn't changed at all. We stay true to it today, and every decision we make is around the customer. So it's interesting to hear the conversation yesterday when Carol kicked it off, or when Walter Robb was talking about you got to be mission driven. I think we just want people to understand we're as mission driven as you are, and the customer is the most important person. It's their reason for being. We also have a perspective that we have two customers to serve. It's the customer who buys stuff, but it's also the customer who's our associate who sells stuff. So those are the most important people. We can put a plan together for this great product at this amazing price with wonderful quality, but if we don't think about our associates as we're launching, we could fail. And so we're very mindful of our people make the difference, and every person in Walmart counts, and we're a mighty, just in the US, over 1 million associates. But how do we make programs that can make it simple for them to execute and actually just lean in and help the customer understand it? I think the other thing we want to make sure you understand, sometimes people are saying Walmart is too big, or I don't know if the Walmart customer is my customer. Our customer is 90% of America. If you aren't aware, literally, we're 10 miles away from 90% of the population. And just like I said, we're mission driven. We believe that we should bring healthy foods, innovative foods, great ideas to everyone in the United States. It doesn't mean that it's strictly on the coasts, but really we want to make sure that we're giving access to healthy food to everyone, or innovative food trends that they may not see in rural parts of America and they just haven't been exposed to. But we think about it differently and have a different perspective, which Sarah will walk you through in a little bit, of how we treat that space. And I think in chilled and in frozen, we are more aggressive with that, but we're also evangelizing inside of our organization. We know that small companies we need to be small for you. So you can go to as few stores or as many stores as you like, and we want to do it responsibly for you. We are very mindful that sometimes our scale can be completely scary and make you think, I don't know if I'm prepared, and it could put me in financial peril, but we believe entrepreneurs are exciting, they're fast, they have crazy new ideas, they're bold. So how do we make sure we engage with you? Because our customer deserves that, and we're extremely passionate about it. I'll tell you, when you work for Walmart, one of the big things is our leadership makes us think about our founder and Sam Walton, and how are we the Sam Walton for everyone? And how do we take that mission down to all of the people that work at Walmart? And I can give you just a quick example of one of the things I learned when I started working for the company. And we had just launched stores in Chicago, and that's a new environment for us. We're not traditionally urban. It's difficult for us to get in there at times. And there was a leader that went into one of our new South Chicago stores. And she was told, don't go in there. It's super urban. It's really intense. They're happy to have us. They're so busy. Just stay out of their way. They're new. They're trying to figure everything out. Well, she went in anyway. And she said, I'll just kind of be a fly on the wall, and I'll just watch the customer. And when she was watching and observing, she saw a woman walking back and forth in the store. And every time she walked back and forth, she actually had a different item in her basket. And so she went up to them and she said, hey, do you need help? Can I help you find something? I feel like you're changing items. And she said to her, she said, yes, thank you for coming to me. I have $7 to feed my kids this week and my family. And she had a little boy with her. And basically said, I don't know what I can get for this, but I want to feed my family. And so the executive was like, I'm not sure that I'm that customer, so let me get you to our store manager who's extremely comfortable. So she walked, her name was Dolores, she walked her back into the manager and said, hey, how can we help Dolores? She's got a fixed budget and she wants to make sure she can get everything she needs. And basically, the manager walked her through and helped her pick a lot of different things that would stretch her dollar. And so the executive went back to just watching the patterns of the customer. And Dolores had come through the checkout, and she had 3 bags of groceries. And she's like, "Thank you so much. I have never gotten 3 bags of groceries for this money that will last me a week, and I appreciate it." So that's like the soul of the company and how we think about the customer. Not everything has to be low priced, by the way. I came from an electronics background before I went into food, and I've been in food for 6 years. So we sell TVs, we sell iPads, we sell $850 iPads. In fact, it was like our second best seller. But we have affluent areas, we have poverty areas, but nonetheless, the customer is at the heart of every decision. And we also believe the customer has to have access to everything, healthy food, innovation. So how do we do that? And why are we here talking to you? I think we love our big suppliers. They do a great job. It's a big business. We always want to protect our core. But what we saw with this food evolution change is that the customer is acting different. You heard it yesterday. You know it. They want fresher foods. They have different food issues that they need to solve for. And it feels like some of our areas, at least when I started, I think the frozen aisle has done a great job before I came into frozen. I've been there 2 years, but it still felt like it was stuck in the 90s. Yet our restaurant trends are different. People are engaging so much different with food. So how can we bring that to each of our aisles? I just think it's extremely important, and we feel passionate about delivering that to the customer. What's exciting about you is you are bold. You are creative. You take risk. You iterate. You move with speed. Some of the difficulty of big corporations is it's hard to move with speed. So we innovate with them, but they're like, hey, it might be 2-3 years before we get there. And understand that. They have to get it to full scale. But what's cool about working with you guys, and the more we've interacted, is that we need to change too. We need to think differently about how we come to market. So I'm not here to tell you that Walmart is always perfect, by the way. We're internally and externally evangelizing, like I said. But I will tell you, Gail got up here yesterday and gave us a shout out. But Gail pointed out a lot of our problems. And the funny thing is, we're like, we need to listen and we need to change. And it's worked, and we did it responsibly. And she didn't have to say that. Thank you, Gail. But we know we need to change. We can't operate slow. We need to be fast. I heard one of our leaders say, the future is in the hands of the fast, and go faster than you ever think you can. So we're being challenged to break the paradigm, to do things different, to change our processes, and we know you're the best ones to teach us how to operate differently. I don't know if you want to take on from that.
Sure. Yeah, so Laura touched on it, but why we love working with you all is you're really close to the customer. Emerging brands, we love the passion that you all have for the customer. We love that you're not inhibited by speed. You're really getting close to what are core customer pain points and how do you work to solve those. And there's a lot that we can learn from you. But we also know, elephant in the room, and Jeff so lovingly called us an institution. We know what you're thinking. We know our reputation, and like Laura said, we know that we've needed to change. So Laura and I have the privilege of spending time with a lot of the emerging brands, and this is some of the things that we've heard over the last 2 years. We're difficult, we're big, we can't move with speed. There's a lot of concerns about brand equity and what are we going to do with your brand? Are we going to shepherd your brand? And so we've had the privilege over the last 2 years of really listening to your feedback and figuring out how do we need to change internally at Walmart in order to better serve this growing community of emerging brands. And the biggest thing that I'd say is we've had to learn how to incubate. And we've really had to change some of our core processes at Walmart in order to really foster and incubate innovation. And so we've had to learn that national distribution is not always the right first step for small brands. And we've had to figure out how we can start small. before we scale. And so we've changed a lot of our modular processes in order to start small before we scale. Just some of the common myths that we hear from Walmart, a lot of brands will say, I'm not ready for Walmart. And you don't have to be ready for 4,000 stores. The reality is we can put you in as few as 10 stores to start, which is a misconception, I think, of Walmart. You think, Walmart is big, I have to be ready for so many stores. We can start small, and we've learned how to start small before, like I said, before we scale. My brand won't resonate with the Walmart customer. We hear that a lot. As Laura talked about, the Walmart customer is America. We service 90% of America, and so if you work, if your brand is successful in other retailers, if we put you in the right stores, you will be successful at Walmart. We spent a lot of time on segmentation and really figuring out what are the right stores for emerging brands. We created sort of a subset of stores last year for emerging brands where we looked at where are things like organic or plant-based foods, like where are these most relevant at Walmart? And we created sort of this subset of brands in order for you to be successful, making sure that you're placed in the right stores. Things that we found over the last years, actually some of our top stores are rural areas of the country where there's less competition. So I'm going to show you a product, this probiotic item. The top store for this probiotic, it's a $17 probiotic. The top store that we carry is actually in Oklahoma, in the middle of Oklahoma. And it's because Walmart is servicing this customer, and there's not a lot of other competition for the customer, and so there is demand, and Walmart plays this unique role. The other misconception I think a lot of brands have is that you have to be 100% ready with your product before you come talk to a Walmart buyer. Or I have to get help before I go approach a Walmart buyer. And we're here to tell you, we love to work with small brands. We love to help you grow. We're always ready to take a phone call and understand what are your goals, what are you trying to do, how do we help you do that. You don't have to be 100% ready with a go-forward plan before you make that call to Walmart, before you talk to someone. Here are some examples of the products we're proud of, products that we really learned how to incubate, again, before we scaled. We have a $34 Manuka honey item. We have a $17 probiotic item. Soylent is another example of where we started in a small amount of stores. Perfect Bar. All of these items are items where we started in a small amount of stores before we scaled. And it's really kind of been a paradigm shift for us, showing us internally, really stretching the boundaries of what we can sell, teaching us internally that, hey, there is a customer within the Walmart store that's looking for different options, and it's our responsibility at Walmart to make sure that we're servicing this customer. One of the big questions that we get is around omni-channel and what is the strategy at Walmart for growing an omni-channel. Online grocery is our platform. And so if you have distribution in our stores, you also have the opportunity to be part of online grocery. And what we've seen is the #1 opportunity that brands have in marketing or communicating with customer is ensuring that all of your content is up to date on online grocery. Online grocery is growing an exponential amount. We don't necessarily show the figures, but we're super passionate about this platform. And the great part is all of the brands have complete autonomy to make sure that the content is what you want to show the customer on this platform. So again, if you get store distribution, you also have the opportunity to be part of online grocery.
I was just going to add one more thing. What's interesting as we're learning on online grocery is the entrepreneurial products do better. We are higher penetrated in the cauliflower pizza, the frozen produce, anything that is the trend forward evolution of what's happening in food, they become higher penetrated. That customer is more savvy. And so it's just been a good learning for us that that segment, especially for this segment, is so important, and it helps people find access to the products.
Cool. So we just wanted to give a bit of an update. We've been on this mission, as Laura said, to evangelize Walmart and our mission, and we're thinking about emerging brands differently, and we're really changing internally in order to foster emerging brand growth. I had the opportunity to speak at BevNet, and I wanted to give a little bit of an update. I mentioned that we've changed some of our processes internally just in my area alone, since the BevNet presentation only a few months ago, we've had a 30% increase in the amount of suppliers that we've brought in the last few months. Mary is here. Mary is in charge of emerging brands for frozen. She's doubling her space. She's going to increase her number of emerging brand items. She's adding, 200 new items in her next modular update. And so we want to thank you for coming along this journey with us. We've had this drastic increase in the amount of new suppliers and new items that we're bringing on board. And so because of that, we are getting more resources, and we're really appreciative of the growth. Internally, we've been able to secure new programs for emerging brands, and we've got some really exciting special perks, I'd say, of being in an emerging brand and partnering with Walmart, and we'd love to talk to you about those options.
I think we're still in development of those programs, but I think what's important is we realize, and they talked about it yesterday, an entrepreneur struggles with the financials. And so through feedback of people we've worked with, we want you to be transparent with us on where you have your struggles. And if we can help advise you on those things, we are happy to. So like Gail also mentioned, it's scary. You feel like you have to walk in and have all the answers. We don't have all the answers, to be honest. So like if you come to us and say, my pain point is sourcing cheese, or my pain point is logistics, we're going to bring in experts for our company, because we may not be the expert, and we're going to just try to help you work through that. Can we help you scale buying power based off what we're buying and use our scale? Maybe we can, maybe we can't, but we'll try. Or if we can help you think of lots of different logistics options, and then you can figure out what's right for your organization. The point is, come in transparent. Tell us where your pain points are. We have our own pain points. We get it. And you just don't have to have all the answer, but we can work together to make sure it's the right solution for you, and that you're grown responsibly and the right way versus like, oh, here, shove it in a lot, figure it out, and move on. That's not the way we work.
So we're on this journey. We really appreciate your feedback. We want to continue to get better. We'll be around today. Grab us, give us more feedback. We'd love to continue the conversation. We created this handle, getstarted@walmart.com. It doesn't go to a black box. It literally goes to myself and 4 other people. So send us a note. We'd love to talk to you.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.
All right, everyone. So
Sit
you've
down.
got their number. And I really appreciate you taking the time to sit down and talk with me.
Absolutely.
Had a few questions come up from the audience, and I want to get to those right away. First one was, you showed that website and talked about Omni. One of the questions was how the in-store team and the online teams can come together better, given that a lot of these strategies seem to come from in-store.
I don't know if you want to take it, or I can. We both can.
You start. I'll supplement.
I think it's been a journey. We have not been perfect, but what's exciting is we're starting to see parts of our organization pull together and operate as one. So where a couple of years ago, I think we were very bifurcated, we're now working to get the teams collaborated. So like at Sam's Club, they're the first ones who did it, and they're all working together in the same office. And we are now on the mission with Jet and San Bruno, working and collaborating together and involved in our meetings as well. So we're on the journey. It's gotten better over the last year, but we're still working through some of the bumps.
You said I could start in as few as 10 stores.
Yeah.
What do I have to do in those 10 stores to stay in them and then to grow?
So I would say when you get distribution at Walmart, especially for emerging brands, we don't hold emerging brands to the same expectations as we would a major CPG company. So we understand that, again, I talked about incubating before you scale. There's different performance expectations for something that we're trying to incubate and foster. And so the biggest thing that I'd say is when you get into 10 stores, have perspective of the customer that you're serving. Is the need state that you're trying to solve, is it incremental to the current state, to the current set? Try and get feedback from the customer. So the thing that I really encourage brands to do is go out into our stores and talk to the customers that you're serving and give us feedback on what customers are saying. We want to iterate. So getting in the 10 stores, the biggest thing I would say is just know your customer and talk to us about how we help you serve them.
Can I get data from the stores? Well,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But I think the other thing is around what's cool, and everybody talked about it yesterday, is when it's unique and it's not a line extension from something that you see already in stores. It's more about the unique evolution of trends that you're bringing. So I think those are like some of the most successful examples. Like even if you take Halo Top, they're not an overnight success. It was like a 6-year journey. But what they did was hit a market that was that CrossFit, and they were missing permissible indulgence, and everybody wants to indulge. And so it brought a person incrementally into the department who felt like they had to avoid ice cream, but now they can eat a whole pint of ice cream, and it's good quality, and they feel like they've got their own version. So I think it's just thinking about how you present to the customer and getting that feedback, but then it becoming something revolutionary, not necessarily evolutionary.
how do you account for consumer education while you're fomenting revolution?
Well, I think a lot of it is done through social. It's what everybody showed yesterday, where you see people activating on devices now versus the old school way of doing newspaper. You end up getting people who get it in their mouth and taste it, and then it's the word of mouth of friends. I think that's what happened with Halo Top. That's what happened with any good new brand that's come out. You go, oh my gosh, I tried this, and I can eat this cauliflower pizza, and half of it's only like 400 calories. Like, so I feel like I can indulge. It tastes good, and then you start evangelizing, and then other people pick up on it. And social has been such an important piece of that.
What comes after frozen and chilled? I mean, is there a space that y'all are targeting to as the next kind of open innovation area in the store?
So we're really representing all of food.
Yeah.
We do have a location in dry grocery, where we're also shepherding emerging brands within dry grocery. We started in chilled and frozen as kind of a pilot for a new way of working, and that's scaling to the rest of the store in 2 months.
So I have snack brands here and
Yeah.
cookies here,
Yeah.
and they all want to know
We
who
can
they
help.
meet with.
We can help. Yeah, just come to us. We've got that email address, but please, like through the day, please come to us. We're here to connect you with not just us, but everyone. We're just so passionate about it. We're like, we'll go wherever, whether it's GM merchandise. We think it's so important. We take the time outside of our day to day. And so if you've got something that doesn't apply to our area, that doesn't matter. We'll take it back. We'll get you involved. We also do summits outside of the Made in the USA Summit where we bring people in. We also did an emerging brand summit last November, and we'll probably do another one this year. So we can invite you in, you can hear our message, and then we can connect you to the right buyer. But we are here to make sure you get to the right person.
Now, a lot of brands need to find a space to evolve. You know, you talked about your customer being 90% of America. And, you know, with respect, so many of the brands here are looking for the other 10%
Yeah.
to stage from, or even
Yep.
the, dare we say it, the 1%
Yep.
to stage from. So what do they need to do from a branding or ingredient or consumer education perspective to bridge that gap? Does that in fact fall on the brand to do it?
I think it's a combination of both. Our stores are also very socially active as well, and that's an evolution. So even within their community, we talked about community and localization, and our stores are activating even on their own. But I would tell you, I think that 10%, a lot of it is in food deserts anyway. And we're still trying to figure out how do we solve the food desert problem. So truly, it's just hard for them to get to a grocery store anyway, and no one has taken the bold move to get there. And I think that's another piece of it that we're trying to figure out.
I'm thinking, though, with regard to the brands themselves,
Yeah.
what do they have to do to appeal to the 90% as opposed to
I
the
think
10?
it's authenticity. Just like many people said yesterday, you're coming out with something that serves a purpose for something you've come across, but that authenticity and that stand for quality are the two things that will work, and it will travel fast socially. Um, I think most brands who have done that have hit like the social platform that enables them to grow, but it's staying true to the mission, the purpose, the authenticity, and quality.
What do you see from brands that are coming in that are sort of ready to go? It seems like something like a Halo Top or a Call of Power are just hitting a trend, right? Are there, I mean, does the gap have to be that apparent for you to take them?
No, I think what those brands that are doing really well is they're getting very specific about a customer need, and they're solving a customer need or a customer pain point. Brands that are really focused on the customer and understanding how they're uniquely positioned to solve a customer pain point, I think are the ones that are really successful.
And I think it's a quality expectation. You know, I think in this, someone else said it yesterday, in this space, oftentimes people think they have to give up quality for this lifestyle. And the ones who are super successful have kept quality and been maniacal about it. And that's the other piece that takes it to the next level.
But do they have to give up margin?
I mean, just like there's obviously margin requirements, but we are actually one of, I don't know, everybody's got their own philosophy in retail, but if there's a problem with margin, we are generally saying, what are your pain points? And how can we help you overcome it? Because your scale is smaller than ours, and if we can help you overcome it with our scale, we are happy to do it. But I would tell you, we are bringing in things that are low margin because we know we need to give customer access to these things. And we need to be credible with that customer space who thinks differently about their food. And so it's not the top priority.
All right. Y'all, thank you so much. It's great to have you here.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thanks, Doug.
Bye.